Hey friends, this is Tig in with another reaction video, and today we're going to be doing a reaction on PSYCHACKS, why successful men use escorts, what the rich and the beautiful have in common. Okay, now I thought this might be an interesting subject. Definitely wanted to tackle it, or at least hear what he has to say. Now I've seen this man before, okay, seen him on Fresh and Fit, and I really like what he had to say on the show. I think he's been on there more than once. And this guy's really intelligent when it comes down to modern dating. I mean, even past, present, possibly future as well. And I have been watching some of his videos. Really like what he had to say. Very popular guy. I think his name Orion Taraban, something like that. But either way, this guy knows what he's talking about. And what I also like about him is you don't feel like he's talking down to you. He's explaining it in a way even the most, even almost a child could probably understand it, right? Because he loved to get into detail, and he don't use a lot of big words. You know how some people like to use a whole bunch of big words where you barely can understand what they're talking about. I mean, I like Jordan Peterson, but sometimes I feel like he's trying to be really intelligent by using so many big words. This guy just explains it plainly, and I like that. And the way he grasps onto relationships is just amazing. And I'm just wondering where he get it from. I really think he's getting it from God. I don't know if he gives God credit. I don't even know if he's a Christian or not or whatever. But something is giving this guy all this information. I mean, he is a professional, so I'm not too surprised. But I really like the way he explained things, just to be sure. But the reason why I wanted to tackle this particular subject is because when poor men and regular guys pay for things, you know, women, they're looked down upon. You know, you're a creep, you're a pervert, all these things. But when rich men do it, and they have sugar babies and escorts and stuff like that, they're not really looked down on. For example, Leonardo DiCaprio. Now you be saying, hold up, wait a minute, T. He don't pay for escorts and all this kind of stuff. Okay. Now it don't look that way, but you can do it any kind of way you want. You can pay with cash, or you can do it with gifts, or maybe opportunities, or whatever. Either way it goes, these girls are getting something out of it. And it's not just D, okay? It's something else as well, okay? And so these guys can get away with it. So they can kind of play it like, oh, this is my girlfriend for a time. And then after the time is over, he kicked them to the curb and move on to the next, all right? Now, I've heard some women, especially when in the adult industry and escorts, say that even when women are dating, they act like escorts anyway, because they want people to buy their food, buy them gifts, take them places, all that kind of stuff. So it's the same transaction, nothing different. I don't look at it that way. I think when you're dating somebody, you're dating to marry. I mean, that's the way you should date, but not everybody date for that reason. So when when y'all just hooking up, then maybe they can have that argument. But if somebody really trying to date you, they're not going to use money per se to persuade you. They're gonna try to build some type of relationship. So that's why I don't think it's not compared to escorting. But in a lot of these situations though, I mean, it's crazy stuff. Rich guys pretty much can turn it into anything to make it seem acceptable to women, so women don't look bad in public. So some people may say that he is paying for escorts with these women, but then you really can't nail him down for that, because he's saying that these are his girlfriends. Okay, so you can't really make that claim. But I really can't wait for this guy to explain it. And I have an idea about this, because this, like I said, this has been going on forever. Ever since escorts existed, men been paying for it. Okay, so this is what men do. I mean, you can see it in movies, rich guys, Game of Thrones, cowboy movies, all this. It's been happening like forever. Okay. So I'm really curious about what he has to say about this, okay? So let's go ahead and get into this reaction. But before we do, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know whenever we come out with new videos, okay? All right, let's get with it.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PSYCHACKS, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is why successful men use escorts. This is the first part in a 3-part series on this subject, so you'll need to be patient to hear the whole story. I'm going to begin this talk by explicitly stating this is not an endorsement for prostitution. Personally, I have never hired an escort or a prostitute in my life. And to be honest, when I was younger, I used to be very judgmental with respect to the men who did. In so many words, I thought such men must be losers who, for whatever reason, couldn't otherwise get access to women unless they paid for it.
And women tend to make you feel that way too when you do something like that, okay? When you hook up with them, even the ones that you pay, they make it seem like you're a loser in a way, okay? Now, a lot of men that talk about this particular subject, professional, they want to say they never did anything like this, but at some levels, they kind of did pay for something. And it might not be going to the street and paying a girl off and renting a hotel or whatever, but sometimes when you go on dates with some women, they require certain things. They'll basically allow you to go a little further than usual if you do certain favors. So I'm sure if he didn't just professionally go out there and just pay for it, I know at some levels he might have done it. And I'm sure it's ringing in his head that he did something like that. But it's easy to say, well, I never just went out and paid for one or hired one and used my credit cards and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, you can say that, but who knows exactly, because you can't really nail down if you just dating somebody or if you actually really paying for something, okay? All of us been in some type of situation.
And while I'm sure there are some unattractive or even some revolting men who use prostitutes for this reason, I actually don't believe they constitute the majority of an escort's clients. In fact, I've since radically changed my opinion of these men, in part due to numerous conversations I've had with men who have used escorts, and in part due to my own experiences in the sexual marketplace as I've become more successful.
Yeah, it's different when you say escort and the P word, okay? Escorts seem to be more classier, and that's why certain women will do escorting. They'll target guys with money usually, not all the time, but usually. And there's a situation where they'll set up a nice little room together, and then maybe meet on the regular, something like that, right? Or just have built some type of relationship. It's not just sexual. They'll have some type of friendship, but sex is included. But then versus the P, a woman on the street, it's just you just hit it and then you go about your business and just find another one. Okay, it's no personal, nothing. You pay her, you do your thing, and then you leave. Okay, and it's different. It's more classier when you call it escorting. Okay, it's still the same freaking thing, but it's just put out there differently. Okay, and usually escorts usually target men with money, just like I said.
Though I can't say that I endorse the use of escorts, I can certainly understand it. And this talk is specifically addressed to women to help them comprehend the types of problems unique to highly successful men, who are presumably the kind of men they would most like to target for a long-term relationship.
Basically, where you're going with this, because you see it on Fresh and Fit, Red Pill, and all that kind of stuff. Look, if you're going to mess with a professional man with money, famous, high value, like a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, you're going to have to deal with the problems that come along with it. And that means a lot of these guys always have some kind of girl on the side or something, okay? Mistress. And you see it on movies, you see it in real life, all these famous guys. We talking about politicians, we talking about people like Elon Musk, we talking about, just really, really famous and rich men. Leonardo DiCaprio again, right? They tend to want the convenience, okay? They want to have a family, an heir. So they'll possibly get married. They might do it like Elon Musk. He did get married once or twice, but now I think he's single now, but still having children. Or they might just get married and have children, but then they'll have something on the side. Matter of fact, I was just watching a movie recently where this guy was like, he kept this woman. He was a banker or something. He had a lot of money. So he was keeping this girl on the side, got her an apartment and all that kind of stuff, right? He loved his wife. And he ended up leaving his wife because he got the girl pregnant, which was a mistake. But, he wasn't happy about it. He didn't want to really leave her. He loved being with her and the kid. He just wanted something on the side. But of course, she turned it into something else. So this is kind of like a regular thing in a way when it comes down to men with money. And the woman in the movie kind of accepted it. She knew the deal. This man need to, do a little bit on the side for stress or whatever. Because it was a situation where the mistress called because she was in trouble. And the wife picked up and she saw who was on the phone. So he was in bed. She just went up there and just handed it to him. She knew who it was, but she didn't care. As long as you didn't break up the family, she didn't care. So this is kind of the kind of problems I think he's about to talk about when dealing with men with money and fame. Okay.
By understanding how the economics of dating change as a function of success, women can better position themselves to secure the type of men with whom they most want to mate and date, provided they, like me, can move past the reflexive judgment they may carry with respect to the topic under consideration. Let's get to it. The fact of the matter is, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, the higher your normalized sexual marketplace value, the more traditional dating becomes increasingly expensive.
Yeah, I mean it changes. Okay, and when you're rich, it's completely different when you go out with people. I remember one time I was at a place at a strip joint, well, go go. And it's this guy. He rolled up. He had like one of those Hummers, and it was decked out. The guy had money, obviously. So the girls went crazy in the go go. And me and him started to talk. So he started handing me money to throw on stage, all kind of stuff. This was years ago, man, when I was younger. And I was having a good time, man. He was buying drinks and handing out money. And then he was like, let's go somewhere else. So he told me to come along, and we was going all over the place. He was paying for everything, man. So it's different. It's not like a regular date when you dating just a regular guy, just gonna take you out to dinner and y'all go out see a movie or something like that, right? When it comes down to people with money, man, it's just a whole new atmosphere. It's just a whole new feeling, a whole new thing, man. It's like you could just, and that's why women want to date these men, and they kind of shy away from dating regular dudes, not unless they can really milk them for money. But they kind of shy away because they want that experience. They want that guy not even think about spending money, just going places, doing things that they've never done before. They love that experience. So it's a completely different thing when you date somebody with money. A completely different thing. And the reason why I brought that up, because that was a taste. Because I literally got to see a man with money just have. That's not the first time, because I remember I went to another place and I ran into a dude with money. He knew Congress people, all kind of stuff. We was just laughing, joking. He was handing me money to give to women and stuff like that. It was crazy, man. These guys just live to the hilt, man. And that's the reason why women want to be around them. And so I got a little taste, and I saw how these women were experiencing it, because they were taking that money and sticking it into their pants and their pockets, all kind of stuff, man. And they loved this dude, okay, because they knew who he was. Because you come in as a big spender, women will flock to you, man, because they know you. Try going out there and spending a ton of money. The problem is, can you keep it up? That's the problem, okay.
In fact, the most attractive women and the most successful men often end up pricing themselves out of the dating market. This is why, for example, it's probably best for a woman to be like an 8.5. If you're an 8.5, you're definitely attractive enough to get plenty of attention and preferential treatment.
Yeah.
However, because you're not like a world-class beauty, you actually avoid a lot of the downsides and liabilities associated with being fabulously attractive. These are problems that less attractive women don't even know exist and never have to deal with. They might roll their eyes at this suite of problems and say, oh, poor baby, can't handle being beautiful. I wish I had her problems. But frankly, that's really an envy reaction. The problems of really beautiful women are real problems. They're not problems of survival, but if we're honest, neither are the problems that their haters are contending with. Beautiful women receive little to no sympathy for their difficulties, not because their difficulties aren't real, but because there are so few other people who have experienced them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I'm looking at an extremely beautiful woman, right, you can't imagine she got problems, okay? I mean, she's never going to go hungry. And I did a video on this too. You know, these women, this gorgeous on TikTok complaining about getting a job and all this kind of stuff. You can, there's so many routes a beautiful woman can take to avoid working, man. And I'm using that example. She can be a mistress. Not saying that I promote that kind of stuff either, but I'm just saying, come on, man, you're not going to starve. Some dude going to feel sorry for you, and some dude probably with money is going to pay for your bills or put you in an apartment or something like that, right? So you really don't feel sorry for these gorgeous women, because you could do pretty much anything to get guys to give you money. Because even the average woman can get money out of a dude. So can you imagine if you just drop dead gorgeous? You're not going to starve. It's just never going to happen. And that's the reason why people don't feel sorry for you.
The same thing holds true for men. The sweet spot for being a man is probably earning high 6, low 7 figures a year. That is more than enough to provide a comfortable and enjoyable lifestyle for yourself and your family. Anything more than that, and men start to deal with a suite of problems that less successful men don't even know exist and never have to deal with. And if
I just want to interrupt. I remember I was working maintenance and I saw this guy building something. These guys working on something. I knew one of the guys, and he was like, they was working on this place. It was a penthouse of this really popular guy in the area. And during my lunch break, he invited me up to take a look. There wasn't no furniture in there. They were just putting up the fixtures and everything else. Oh my God. It was like another world. You know them really, really beautiful places you see in magazines? That was it. I was thinking in my mind, oh my God, if I had something like this, you will always get women. Always. Always. No woman will say no to this. It was like living in the doors was huge. The windows were huge. The fixtures were coming from like France and all these other places, man. I mean, he really wanted me to see this, man, because it was so extravagant. It was crazy, right? I was thinking, oh my God, if I had something like this. But it's another world, man, when it comes to really rich people, man. Rich people problems, I guess, right?
anyone garners more unearned hatred than the beautiful, it's the wealthy.
Yeah.
People scoff at the champagne problems of the rich, but the problems of really successful men are real problems. And these
only time I'm upset with the rich, I'm not mad at the rich because they got money. I just want to put this out there. I'm not mad at you because you live in a great lifestyle and got money. I hate when the rich interfere with your money. All of a sudden they start changing laws that, take money out of your pocket. That's when I get pissed. When they start screwing people over. That's when I don't like the rich. I don't care if they got money. I don't care if they're getting all the women. I don't care if they're living a great lifestyle. I don't care. But I do care all of a sudden they start changing things where you can't make it or make money or have a nice lifestyle. That's the part I don't like.
These men experience even less sympathy for their difficulties than beautiful women do, not because their difficulties aren't real, but because there are so few other people who have experienced them. Now, you might think that being a highly successful man would be a wonderful liability in the sexual marketplace.
Yeah.
And you would be correct. After all, if a man has wealth and status and fame, he typically enjoys very good optionality with women. So why would a man like this use escorts? It isn't as though there is a dearth of women who would be interested in dating him. Is it really true that all these men are just immature narcissists who delight in the objectification of women?
Yeah, in some cases, but not all cases. I see the logic of it. And I've seen movies when the guy explained why he wanted to escort. Let's use for a perfect example, Pretty Woman. Okay, he was good looking. Richard Gere, the character in that was a good looking guy. He was rich. Women wanted him by the groves. It just happened, right? So Julie Roberts, her character, asked him, "You're a rich, good looking guy. Why would you want to escort for?" So he was like, he didn't want the problems. It was convenient. Basically, the saying goes, I pay you to leave. Not to sleep with you, but for you to leave. Once I'm done, I'm paying you to walk out the door, basically. He just didn't want any girlfriend problems. Okay? So it's convenient, basically. It's convenient for them. There's no promises they have to make. They don't have to act a certain way to win her favor, nothing like that. It's a transaction. Here you go. Here go money. Give me what I want. And then leave, or hang around as long as I want you to hang around. But that's basically the reason. I mean, they generally have feelings for their wives and their children or whatever, and they go through the trouble of being careful about what he say to her and treat her a certain way so she feel wanted and loved and all this kind of stuff. Which is energy. It's a lot of energy to do that, right? Whenever she's feeling bad, you gotta comfort her, protect her, do all these things, right? But once in a while, these guys want, they just want sex. That's it. They don't want to get to know your personal business, even though it can gradually grow to that, but it's not what they're looking for. They just looking for sex, and that's it. And that's what most men are. It's not any different. But then a lot of the cases, a lot of guys can't get women, so they just do it so they can have some type of sexual experiences. So. But rich guys, they don't need to do it, but they do it just for the convenience sake.
Or might there be another explanation for this not uncommon behavior among this particular demographic. The reason why so many of these top-tier men use prostitutes is because it becomes prohibitively expensive to date traditionally once you cross a certain point. Let's examine why this might be the case.
Okay, I just gave you a reason why I thought it, but this is interesting. I'm really interested in what he's about to say. I think I have an idea what he might say because this does make a little sense. So I'm really, really ready to be blown away with his answer. Really, I really am.
My good friends is a corporate lawyer, and he bills his time at $1,300 an hour. Now, that may sound like a lot, but it's kind of the going rate for a partner at a top-tier law firm.
Damn.
By the same token, there are folks in my space online who charge $2,000 to $3,000 an hour for a consultation.
I'm in the wrong freaking profession, man. I'm telling you, man. I can imagine what those guys' lifestyles are like.
And then you get into the rarefied realm of bank presidents, celebrities, tycoons, and professional athletes who can easily command tens of thousands of dollars or more for an hour of their time. However, to make this talk more accessible, let's just use the lawyer's rate as the standard of measurement. So let's assume a man is making $1,300 an hour, like my friend. In the traditional dating pipeline, what would be expected of him? Well, first, he'd have to spend some time making something happen. Maybe he has to go out to a bar on a Saturday night and rizz up a girl. And this is hardly a sure thing, even at the local meat market, so he'll have to have the energy and the emotional resilience to deal with the rejection that inevitably stands between him and an actual prospect. Or he'll have to spend time creating a dating profile on an app that won't land him in the invisible 90% functionally ignored by all women.
See, that's what I was about to say. He don't really have to go into bars. Not unless he just meet with friends or whatever. He can just leave a profile. LinkedIn or whatever, right? Women all over the internet looking for men, so they'll find them. And all he have to post is his lifestyle, like he's on a yacht or he's golfing, he got money, all that kind of stuff. Just post his lifestyle. And these women will come and running. They'll come and running. They'll be like, hi. And then they hoping this guy start to talk to them from the high. Because they don't want to seem too easy now. Even though they might be, they don't want to seem that way. So they'll just leave a high there, right? And like I say, man, they be searching for rich guys all the time, man. It's almost like wolves looking for a sheep or something, right? They'd be hunting these jokers down, hunting them down.
And swiping on hundreds of accounts in order to get some matches. Either way, once he succeeds in getting a number, he'll need to spend more time playing the text game in order to help the woman feel sufficiently safe and sufficiently attracted, which is not an easy balance to strike, to meet up for an actual date. Of course, he'll be expected to plan the date, which will almost certainly occur at some neutral location, as opposed to his house, several days or even weeks out. On the date, he'll be expected to cover all the expenses, but as we'll see, this is the most inexpensive part of dating for him.
Now, if he's talking about rich men, they don't need to go through all that. As soon as the girl say hi and he say, okay, I'll fly you out, that's pretty much it. These girls ain't thinking about their safety. They ain't thinking about anything else. They just thinking about the lifestyle they're gonna experience. That's it. He don't got to do all this plan and stuff like that. Look, all he has to do is say, look, I'm going to some kind of festival or something like that, right? Would you like me to fly you out and we do it together? Now, he got to have somebody make arrangements for him to fly her out and things of that sort. Or maybe negotiate with her a little bit as to what she might expect and not expect. But other than that, man, I doubt if he have to really, really work that hard, okay, just to get her to like him, okay? As long as he makes her happy, she don't care. And as long as he got a lot of money and he's still living that lifestyle he's already living, she just want to be a part of that. That's all that is, okay? He don't really have to say too much. He don't really have to do a lot. He just got to be who he is and live the fancy lifestyle most of these guys live. And these women will come a running. They'll come a running.
The meeting itself will probably last 2, maybe 3 hours, with potentially an hour of commuting to and from the location. So he likely has to block off an entire evening, and busy, successful men may only get 1 evening off a week, if that. And given all this time and effort and expense, there is, of course, absolutely no guarantee that the man will even be attracted to the woman in question, let alone succeed in securing a sexual encounter.
Now, I just said something about rich men with great lifestyle. They don't have to go through this trouble. Now, if it's a guy that just each like making six figures, but he still has to work and he still, so he might have to go through all this. Okay. And yes, that can become problematic, especially if he's a really busy man and he got to go out there and work all the time. He's on call constantly. Just the guys that they like workaholics or whatever, right? So they don't have the time to be like out there just hunting for chicks. Okay, a lot of the times it got to be something very convenient for them, and these women got to also understand that he's a very busy man. So I can see the draw of getting an escort for that. That way you don't got to go through all these issues. They understand. They know to be quiet. They know to be there at your beck and call. All of these things. Just make it convenient. I mean, like I say, anything can be problematic if you allow these women too much access to your life, and I think that's where the problems come. You just got to keep it professional. I don't care how much you like her. You got to keep it professional and keep it moving. Don't give her no information about your banks or your wife or your kids. None of that junk. Because some of these guys start telling these women all these personal things, and at some point, these women can kind of blackmail them in a way. So you got to keep it professional. We meet up, knock and shop. I'm out of here. Here the money. I'm gone. I'll see you next time. And just leave it at that. But these women be digging though. They be digging though. But like I say, the really rich guys like Leonardo DiCaprio don't have to go through all this. But somebody just making six figures or something like that, or higher, just making really, really good money, they probably do have to go through all this. So they're going to have to find some easier way to get things done.
And irrespective of the moral or ethics involved, this is frustrating because since men attempt to exchange resources for sexual opportunity in the sexual marketplace, this is why he's there. So even if we ignore all the monetary expenses associated with the date itself, which are potentially not insignificant, a 3-hour date bookended by an hour of travel at $1,300 an hour is $5,200. This means this guy is paying $5,000 in terms of the cost to his time to go on a date with you. And this does not include any of the time and effort that went into securing the date. This may come as a shock, but most women do not just show up into a man's life with an intention to make his life easier. For most men, it's a lot of fucking work to get sex and relationships from women.
That's usually the average man. Like I say, man, if you're making really good money, man, women are easygoing. Now, I've hung out with a lot of women, very beautiful women now. They were just fun. They didn't mind the flirtations and the fun because they were like, they were just wanting a good time. It was no big deal to them. So I like women like that. But normally when you're doing these meetups, that's the problem, okay? Because these women I just referred to, right? I just happened to run into them in a club or restaurant or whatever the situation is. And we just happened to start talking. And then, it was no expectations, basically. And we just start talking, just having a good time or whatever, and possibly hooked up after that. But when you arrange things to meet somebody, there's always going to be some type of expectations on either side, okay? So I understand what he's talking about, though.
You hear a lot about the emotional labor that women perform for men. But it's absolutely true that men perform a great deal of emotional labor for women.
Yeah.
It's just that the man's labor typically has to do with getting laid and securing and maintaining the relationship. To do this, men often have to be charming or funny or cool. They have to stimulate your emotions and arouse your attraction. They have to listen to you talk about your day and care about the woman inside your body. And they have to do all this without giving the slightest impression that this is in any way work for them, or that they could possibly want to do literally anything else with their time and attention. Because if you get the impression that they're just doing this because it works and not because they authentically want to do it, you won't fuck them. This is
I don't know if I completely agree with that, okay? Like I say, if you're a very good-looking man, even if when you act like you don't give a crap, that's attract them even more. So I'm not exactly sure which guys he's talking about. The regular six-figure guys, or we talking about the millionaires or the billionaires or whatever situation. Millionaire billionaires ain't gonna have to work that hard. Certain ones, for example, I'm using George Clooney and his wife, right? From my understanding, he really had to work hard to get her, even though he was famous and have a lot of money. But she had her own thing going on where she can pretty much blow him off because she's very attractive and she's very accomplished, But deep down inside, I think she wanted him anyway. So she just wanted to appear to, play hard to get or whatever situation. She didn't want to look like she was easy. But I think she would have took it all the way to the point where it's like, look, if you don't do the things to get me, I am gonna let you go. She was in that position, but as much as she probably wanted to be his wife, she probably would have took it there. And some women will take it there with certain type of guys, 6-figure guys, maybe millionaires. But generally speaking, most women, they're gonna go along with it. They'll do and say anything to get close to that man. Generally speaking,
It's not easy to do. Even the most successful Casanovas strike out more often than they get on base. Women are extremely complex, and most men do not even begin to approach an understanding of how you operate. In any case, dating you requires a lot of time, energy, money, and emotional resilience. And if you're working 80 hours a week, you just might not have the bandwidth for that. Dating just feels like another job, but a job that you pay to work. I understand that women have their own frustrations with the dating process, but that's not why we're here today. We're looking at dating from the perspective of successful men in these episodes. We'll get back to you later.
All right, I just want to say something. Look, if you're a guy that's working like this lawyer guy, right, working all these hours, right, you need to invest, start buying properties, start doing things, something that will gonna put you in a position where you don't have to work, you can just make money. Now, I'm not saying they're gonna give up that job or anything like that, but it's like you can make your life a lot easier when you take your money and invest it, like in the stocks or whatever. Okay, now you just some dude that just love to work all the time because you love your job, but over the situation, yeah, that can be very inconvenient, very inconvenient. And I can see why you might hire an escort. I can definitely see that reason because you don't need time to be going through all that stuff trying to woo her, especially when you're more dedicated to your job than anything else. Because some men just don't want to get married. They just love their job. They love their lifestyle. And they don't want anything to come in and disrupt that. So instead of finding a wife, because I'm sure at one point or another they will attempt to build a relationship or had a relationship where it didn't work because he worked too much or he's more dedicated to his job than the woman. So he probably get to a point where he say, look, I'm at a point I ain't really ready to have a serious relationship. So what I'm going to do is just get an escort. It's convenient. She don't expect much. Now, it's always that possibility the escort could fall in love with this dude, make it emotional or whatever, right? But 9 out of 10, she's not going to screw it up. So she's going to go whatever program he wants, basically. And normally, they don't say anything. They might sign an NDA or whatever situation is. They won't say a word. And they discreet. They won't do anything to screw you up. And that's another reason why you pay them. They're employees, man. Like I said, you need to watch Pretty Women if you haven't watched it. That basically covers everything. I mean, of course, he ended up falling in love with her, which you do not do. You do not fall in love with women like that. But, it's a romantic movie. Of course, they was going to do that. But generally speaking, you don't fall in love with these women. It can happen, but you don't do it. And you just pay them for the convenience. And guess what? Believe it or not, when you getting sex, you don't want sex all the time. It's the guys that's not getting sex that want sex all the time. It's the guys that's getting it on a regular. It's not that much. And then I don't think they see escorts every day, anything like that. They'll hook up with them probably 2-3 times a month, maybe. Other than that, they doing what they doing. They working, they traveling, they doing whatever, right? But she'll be there. And some guys have women at different ports, like sailors, right? They have a woman in Atlanta. They have a woman in Miami. They have a woman in Florida. Oh, Florida, Miami, same thing. But I'm just saying, they'll have different women in different places. And so it's very convenient for them. All right. Whenever they got to travel, they can just make a phone call and say, hey, let's hook up and, do our thing. I'll even take you out to dinner. Because sometimes men will pay just to hang around a girl. I need an escort to dinner. I don't want to dine alone. So I need somebody with me. So they'll take her. So, and I think that happens when the guy start really liking the girl and she follows his program to the letter. It don't give him any issues. So he might say, let's go to a movie or go out to dinner or something. Or maybe I might want to meet some friends. If you look at Pretty Woman, he took her to a business thing because he wanted his girlfriend to come down and be there for him while he did business, but she refused, so they ended up breaking up. So he hired her to be there, to help him with the stress and everything else. So this definitely works for a really busy rich man. Elon Musk is very busy. He's so involved with his companies that he literally got a bed in his office because he generally don't want to leave. He's so involved. And like I said, he tried the married thing. That didn't work. Now it's just convenient just having baby mamas now. Women at his beck and call where he can have kids. And he got a lot. I think he got like 12 kids or something. But a lot of freaking kids. It's very interesting. But either way it goes, now he realizes, why do I even need to get married? And there's a story right now, like you got Tobey Maguire now. Nobody expected him to get himself a youngie because he got married one time and got divorced. Now he's dating young women. It's just convenience now. He probably learned it from his friend Leonardo DiCaprio. He probably thinking, why am I going through all this, trying to pick these women up and date them and go through all this crap. And especially when a lot of these women are kind of throwing them under the bus. I mean, think about it right now. Who is that? Who is that actor, right? He went dating this woman, and then he broke up with her, and then she just started putting out his text messages and kind of like just really, really just, putting them out there. And he like, oh man, what the freak? And he dated this woman for a while. He ended up getting with another woman and getting her pregnant, but he started to probably realize, like, why am I going through all this crap when I could just hire a chick? I don't have to go through all this. I don't got to give her no personal information. I see her when I feel like it. You know what I mean? And it's an arranged thing. And it's a good chance they might not say anything because in most cases, they don't want people to know they're escorts. So it ain't like the situation with Trump, for example, right? Everybody knew she was an adult actress. So blabbing to the world was easy because everybody already knew who she was, okay? And that's where Trump made a mistake. He should have just been messing with escorts. But like I said, I'm not promoting this stuff here, okay? I'm just making it clear. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it smart, okay? But either way it goes, most escorts don't want people to know they're escorts because they got family members and all this kind of stuff, right? So most likely they'll keep it quiet. For a perfect example, it's this Asian doctor who married this woman. Come to find out she was an escort, or at least allegedly, anyway. But nobody knew she was one, including her husband. So they end up getting divorced when he found out. So they want to keep this kind of stuff secret. So that kind of works for your favor. So when you hire one, you tell her the conditions or whatever. She tell you her conditions, and then y'all work it out. And then, you see her when you see her. You don't got to worry about her putting out your personal business and all the other stuff. As long as you pay her, as long as you stick to the arrangement. Now, you can always cancel and move on to the next. That's another thing, too, the breakup stress. All of a sudden now she know all your business. She know everything about you, all your dirt. And then when you break up, is that chance she might put it out there? Scratch up your key, your car, burn your house down like that girl from TLC. I mean, it's relationships these days are stressful now and very, very inconvenient. Of course, you want to fall in love, you want to have relationships, you want to have kids, all these things, right? But it's a headache in a way. So these men are trying to figure out ways to have it all, basically, right? Like Elon Musk, he got this woman, these women got babies and whatever, and he can have sex with whoever, whenever he want to. He got that convenience, and men are looking for convenience. Cause that's if you want to know something about men, they just want to have a nice, quiet life without any problems, and they're willing to pay for it. And a lot of these rich guys are willing to pay for the convenience of it. They don't need the stress and all the craziness to go along with relationships. So they'll pay for that. Eventually, at somewhere down the line, they'll get tired of it and then they'll eventually get married. And, you know what I'm saying? Because you only can do this for so long after a while. Because even men need that connection with somebody. So even though, like, for example, Leonardo DiCaprio, again, right? Even though he's doing these things, eventually he's going to settle down. Because George Clooney was out there sleeping around with different women, but eventually he settled down and stuff. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to have perfect marriages or anything like that, but I'm just saying men also need connection too as well. but they always want to have that piece on the side, especially when they got money. Okay, it's just the way it is, and these are the rich man problems that women gonna have to deal with when they want to date the NBA player, the tycoon, the rich dude, all these guys. It just come along with the territory. It is what it is. But I like his explanation. I don't completely agree with everything he just said in this video, but I really love where he was going with it, and a lot of it I do agree with. Okay. All right. Like I said, I'm gonna leave the link below. You can just watch it uninterrupted. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to me. I'm really trying to build this channel. I got 5,000 and something subs. I want more, definitely. I really want to take this really high and start doing new things, but I can't do it without your help. So please help me out, okay? And also like it and leave a comment. I really like to hear what you have to say, because I do read it, even though I don't get to it as quickly as I want, but I do eventually read comments and reply. All right? Okay, I really appreciate all of you coming by. Thanks again. This is T, and peace.